Well, really want to stay around and I have time now so I will. I will look at all the choices I have, and then hopefully pick the right one that will take me to a good future. The last empty spot for the 2023 season has been filled as Haas announced Nico Hülkenberg as the replacement for Mick Schumacher. While many people think this decision is bad because Hülkenberg hasn't been really good in his Formula One career and has been away from the sport for 3 years, time will tell if Haas made the right choice or not. What's for sure is that Mick won't race in 2023, but that doesn't mean he'll miss out on the sport completely. A very nice spot has opened up for him at Mercedes, and this is something he'll probably take. Mick's 2022 season hasn't been one to remember, except for his points on 2 times at Silverstone and Austria. Other than that, he crashed the car twice, in Monaco and in Jeddah, and even though he got better as the season went on, he still wasn't able to impress his team enough to keep him for next season. Many Formula One experts think this is a huge mistake made by Haas because Mick does deserve to drive in Formula One. Unlike his father, Mick needs more time to get used to the car he's given, which is something almost every driver has when they're starting in the sport. But Haas chose a reliable driver who, even though he hasn't been impressive in his Formula One career, was a steady driver that brought steady points to the teams he drove for. Ralf Schumacher, Mick's uncle and Michael's brother, thinks that Steiner has something personal against Mick, which is why he chose to replace him with Hülkenberg. In the final parts of the season, we have ground to make up. The last 2 years were not good for us, We are a lot better this year again, but we need to. We want to make the next step, that we want to end up where we were in 2018 again, So for us, Nico was the best choice for it and we made a change. When talking about this situation, Ralf said, I see it as hard for Haas to choose Mick, otherwise they would have done it a long time ago. I think the way people talk in the team, and how open Gunter Steiner is I'm being polite here doesn't really sound good. Mick has shown that he has talent, but no matter what he did, the team and Gunter Steiner were never happy with it. This behavior can't be explained in normal ways. It almost has to be something personal. I believe that Steiner can't deal with the fact that someone else gets attention at Haas. He really likes to be the one in the spotlight. Now just 1 day after announcing this, the team announced Mick leaving and Nico Hülkenberg coming. During the Abu Dhabi press meeting on Thursday, Mick talked about his time at Haas, and while talking about it, he also gave us hints about his future, which we could guess would be as a backup driver at Mercedes. Obviously it's disappointing. In some ways because I feel like I've been doing a good job up to this point. On the other hand, the team decided to go that way, so I have to respect that. And so I'm focused on the future now. Schumacher posted on Twitter a mysterious message that had the letters P2, and during the press meeting he was asked about it. He replied, P2 is what I've been saying most of this year. I just felt like saying that because I think I want to prove everybody wrong who doesn't believe in me, because I know what I can do. I've proven that in the junior categories, and I don't see a reason why I can't do that. When asked about what he plans for the future, it said, I just want to put myself in a position where I know it's going to be right for me. Whether that's as a backup. If that's driving, that's to be talked about and looked at. I have the people that I trust around me who I'll be talking with, and then I'll come out with some news hopefully soon. Indeed, there is one team that is looking for a backup driver, and just because Mick will go down from starting driver to backup driver, doesn't mean his career will get worse. Mercedes lost both of their backup drivers recently, with Nick de Vries signing for Aston Martin and Stoffel van Dorn signing for AlphaTauri as a starting driver from 2023 onward. It's been rumored before that Mercedes are talking with Daniel Ricciardo when it comes to the backup driver job. But this turned out to be something that Red Bull wants too, something that Toto Wolff pointed out. But that being said, Mick could be a very good and interesting choice for Mercedes because his father was the one who helped change the team, being part of it for 3 full seasons from 2010 to the end of 2012. That's why Wolff said that there will always be a place for a Schumacher in the sport. adding, "I don't know what the exact situation is with Mick at Haas. I believe that the most important thing for him is that he gets a race seat, but I make no secret of the fact that the Schumacher family belongs to Mercedes. We value Mick both as a person and as a race driver, and that's why we would think about taking this option if he does not get a race seat. But a race seat must be his first choice because he deserves one." It goes without saying that Mick wants to continue his time at Haas, and what many people don't understand is that his results weren't that bad compared to Kevin Magnussen's, at least not bad enough for Mick to be fired from the team and replaced with a driver who hasn't driven a Formula One car properly for 3 years and is 35 years old. Still, Haas believes this is the right thing to do, and according to an ex-Formula One driver, Ralf Schumacher, if Haas fires Schumacher, it would be a foolish thing to do. Unfortunately for Mick, it's still too early for Audi because they will not be there until 2026. If he's not confirmed at Haas, he will no longer be in Formula One. This is very clear. I also say very clearly that Mick belongs in Formula One. A young driver sometimes has to make some mistakes because he doesn't know what the limit of the car is. Gunter Steiner was wrong to put Mick under pressure with useless criticism. It's crazy to have a seat and not confirm Mick. If he gets the right car, he'll be great in the future. But it seems like his leaving from Haas was something that could have been predicted by the experts in the sport, such as Helmut Marko. Helmut talked about the situation a couple of weeks ago, adding that it's never a good thing when a driver is performing under huge pressure and is being criticized publicly for his actions. That's why Marko said that Hülkenberg's signing with Haas is almost guaranteed, and it's just a matter of time until we find out about this decision. This turned out to be completely true. As Marko said, when a team publicly criticizes a driver, like Schumacher so much, as was sometimes the case, it shows there are no signs of trust. The situation at Haas is that they have an experienced driver in Magnussen, and if there was a great up-and-coming talent, I would bet on him, but I don't see anyone at the moment who would have these requirements. And from a team perspective, there is a lot of money at stake in the Constructors' World Championship. Whether you're 10th or 8th, that's a difference of millions of dollars. I assume Haas will bet on a veteran. With how this whole situation has played out, it's safe to say that Mick's best chance would be to sign a backup driver's contract with Mercedes, now that there aren't any empty seats left, apart from the one at Williams that is saved for Logan Sargent if he manages to finish in the top 6 and be allowed to get a super license. Mick's best bet will be to learn from a 7-time world champion and an 8-time consecutive Constructors' champion. After all, it's Mercedes that we're talking about. Mick will always have a chance to join another connected team in the future, such as Williams, if the opportunity comes up. Sure, Mercedes are the ones that also have to be asked about this decision, and it goes without saying that they would want to have a talk with Ricciardo first. However, the Australian has reportedly chosen Red Bull as his destination when it comes to the backup driver role. As a result, Mercedes may be forced to look somewhere else for this position, and now that the situation at Haas has unfolded, they have the perfect opportunity to sign Mick and give him some learning tools. This is something Mick really needs, because he struggled a lot to learn on a team like Haas, who had been called dysfunctional. For Mick, so what do you think about Schumacher joining Mercedes and following his father's footsteps? Let us know in the comments down below.